in Australia. Ram Mandir defaced in Canada. Pak ISI fueling Khalistan fire. Top focus on 5 Live.
It very much looks like Australia is going the Canada way and becoming a safe haven for anti-India elements, including Khalistani terrorists. What else is one to infer from the fact that Australia is still to ban Khalistani groups and to crack down in an effective way on those who deface temples and abuse India sitting there in Australia? I'm Shiv Aroor. We're going to ask the hard questions on the new flare-up of Khalistani violence off India's shores. I'm Shiv, this is 5 Live. These are the headlines. DMK remains brazen after party councillor beats soldier to death. Says these things happen everywhere.
This is happening everywhere. This is happening everywhere. Yesterday in Uttar Pradesh there was a clash and a mother and daughter died. So everywhere it's happening. These are all small things.
Amidst day 3 of Income Tax Department search at BBC offices in India, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar alleges BBC attempt to run down India's growth story, calls it a doctored narrative. Rahul Gandhi replies to the privilege notice against him from Parliament, says sources tell India Today that the Congress MP has submitted details of his allegations on the Adani affair. Tipu Sultan tussle continues as Siddaramaiah hits out at the BJP, calls Karnataka Mantri a demon for his thrash Siddaramaiah remark. Cricketer Prithvi Shaw's car allegedly attacked by 8 people for refusing a selfie. Accused claims Shaw's group attacked them first. An absolute spate of attacks by so-called Khalistani elements in different parts of the world, specifically Canada and Australia. A priest threatened, temples defaced, abusive graffiti, threat calls, and all manner of intimidation by so-called Khalistani groups. An outfit and a movement that has been trying its level best to revive itself. It made a lot of attempts in the last few years, but now they've simply resorted to threats and intimidation and the defacing of Indian temples in Canada and in Australia, which leads us to the question, is Australia becoming a new safe haven for terrorists, for anti-India elements and these so-called Khalistani losers? Here on 5 Live, I'm here to tell you that Hindu temples continue to be on the Khalistani radar, now specifically and increasingly in Australia. Melbourne's Kali temple is the latest to receive a threat from these so-called Khalistani losers. The temple priest got a call warning her to stop bhajans and puja at the temple or face consequences. The latest threat comes after a series of attacks at prominent temples in Melbourne. In January this year, the Hare Krishna temple and Shiva Vishnu temple were defaced with pro-Khalistani and anti-India slogans. Khalistani losers also vandalized the Swaminarayan temple in Melbourne and painted anti-Hindu graffiti on its walls. This is the situation in different parts of Australia in just the last few days. The Khalistani movement has been a non-starter ever since the beginning. Blood has been spilt in its name, but no one is anywhere close to realizing that dream of Khalistan, because it is a dead dream which will never be realized, and nobody really believes in it apart from a few hundred losers who live in Canada and now also in Australia, all of them funded by the ISI. Security agencies suspect that the ISI has stepped up its frustrated pro-Khalistani activities with an aim to reviving terrorism and communal hatred in Punjab. Sources tell India Today that religious leaders' crowded places could be on target of the ISI-backed Khalistani groups. Our next report tells you more.
Temples defaced in Canada and Australia. Anti-India graffiti painted on the walls of Swami Narayan Temple in Melbourne, Australia. Gauri Shankar Mandir was defaced by Khalistani slogans at Brampton in Canada. Similar graffiti earlier spotted on the walls of Kali Devi Temple at Sangrur in Punjab. Over the last 1 year, at least 8 temples have been vandalized this way in India and overseas. Security agencies suspect Pakistan's ISI has stepped up its Khalistani activities with an aim to revive terror and communal hatred in Punjab. An alert issued by central agencies warns that religious leaders, crowded places could be on the target of ISI-backed Khalistani groups. Security sources say Punjab police have been advised to step up vigil along the state borders with Jammu, a route that Pakistan's rogue spy network may use to send consignment of arms, ammunition and explosives into Punjab. The central government is in close coordination with the Punjab government to counter this issue. Union Home Minister Amit Shah said in a recent interview that authorities are keeping a watch.
ये सालों से होता है, हम इस पर गंभीरता से वॉच बनाए रखे हुए हैं। पंजाब सरकार से भी हमारी चर्चाएं होती है, सभी एजेंसियों का कोऑर्डिनेशन अच्छा है। मुझे विश्वास है कि हम इसको पनपने नहीं देंगे।
Dressed up like slain militant leader Jarnail Singh Bhindranwala, flanked by armed guards. Amritpal Singh is a self-styled Khalistan protagonist. He shot to fame in Punjab with his hardline oratory in a matter of months. His theories spin narratives around the Indian Constitution and the RSS.
So सवाल ये है कि ਅਸੀਂ ਬੰਦੀ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਦਾ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਲੜਨਾ ਹੈ ਬਸ਼ਰਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਕੋਈ ਸ਼ੱਕ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੱਖ ਬਾਹਰ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ ਪਰ ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਖਾਲਿਸਤਾਨ ਦੇ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਦੇ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਸਮਝੌਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ
Backed by the mainstream Akalis, demonstrations have been taking place in Punjab for release of men jailed under anti-terror laws during the Punjab unrest. Violent clashes with police also occurred earlier this month. All this coincides with outlawed pro-Khalistani group seeks for justice's so-called Khalistan referendum in several countries like the UK, Canada, Australia and the US. Central agencies on high alert against potential attempts by Pakistan to foment trouble in Punjab once again. With Manjeet Sehgal in Chandigarh, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, our viewers must be wondering about me calling these Khalistani people losers, because they are ultimately losers because they've never gained anything. They haven't gained Khalistan. They haven't come anywhere close to gaining it. But that doesn't mean these people are useless, because they have caused a lot of harm. They have their actions have resulted in the loss of life. Their actions have resulted in fear and loathing among entire communities of people in different parts of the world. And therefore, these people may be losers, but they very much are terrorists, and we will brand them as terrorists. Khalistanis are terrorists. Let's make no bones about that here on India Today. Let me now list for you where the attacks by these losers have been happening, including right here in Punjab. June the 19th, 2022, Kali Devi Temple was painted with pro-Khalistan slogans. April 29th, 2022, Kali Temple was vandalized with swords. This all happened in Punjab. Now let's fly from Punjab to Australia, where many of these losers have taken refuge. January 23rd, 2023, this year, ISKCON temple defaced with pro-Khalistan slogans in Melbourne. January 17th this year, a Sri Shiva and Vishnu temple was also painted with anti-India graffiti and slogans. And on January 12th this year, the Swaminarayan temple was painted with anti-India graffiti. So 3 occasions of temple attacks in Australia by Khalistani losers in January this year. Now let's take you to Canada, which is basically the world's capital of Khalistani terror. January 30th, 2023, Gauri Shankar Mandir was attacked and defaced. July 13th, last year, Gandhi's statue was vandalized in a Vishnu temple. And there are many others. I've only listed the major ones right now because there are many smaller attacks that have taken place as well, which are under investigation. Joining me live now on this big story as we continue to ask the big questions and track where things are at. Neeraj Goel, Chairperson, Members Committee of the Kali Mata Mandir in Melbourne. Jitarth is editor of Australia Today in Melbourne, and Sarah L. Gates is a scholar joining us from Sydney. Thank you all for joining me on this discussion. I'd like to start with our guest from the Kali Mata Mandir, the guest who's joining us from the Kali Mata Mandir, whose name is Neeraj Goel. Neeraj, the temple that you are part of, you're chairperson of the members committee there. Can you tell us what happened? How do people feel about these attacks? These are, intimidatory tactics. Has there been any violence? What kind of threats have you been facing?
Look, it has come as a shocking incidents and episodes, what we have seen across Melbourne happening on 3 temples. We have seen, we started with the Swaminarayan temple owned by BAPS, Gujarat-based charitable organization. The second episode of attack or religious vilification occurred on a Shiva Vishnu temple in Carrum Downs, and the third one happened recently on ISKCON temple in St Kilda, suburb of Melbourne. Now, all 3 news came as a shock to entire Sanatan community because the Sanatan community has got about 680,000 plus individuals living across Australia, and we are a peaceful, law-abiding citizens of this country. And the history says that we have always lived in peace and brotherhood with our Sikh brothers.
Yes.
But when we saw this news coming up, Khalistan, anti-India, anti-Hindu slogans, and Bhindranwala being portrayed as a martyr, it came as a shock. And there is a sense of fear amongst the entire Sanatan community as a result. And the latest of those, threats came to the president of Kali Mata Mandir, Shri Bhavna Gupta ji, where she was told by someone from an unknown number in Punjabi, telling her we are actually organizing a religious event where Shri Kanhaiya Mittal will be actually traveling to Melbourne on 4th of March. And she got a call from unknown number telling her to actually not organize this event on 4th of March, just delay that by 6 months. Otherwise, you will have to face consequences. The guy actually spoke in Punjabi, and look, she was quite scared to even give the interview earlier this evening. But look, that's the case at the moment. So these guys have stooped to such a level that they are openly giving threats to the Sanatan temples to actually avoid hosting evenings of bhajans or hosting these big events. And Kanhaiya Mittal, as you might know, is a very popular bhajan singer in India, and he's got a worldwide following as well. So having him here, obviously, I don't know what the other people are looking at this event, but purely for a Sanatan community, it's a proud moment to have him in Melbourne, seeing all those bhajans that we love. We see him on TV, and seeing him live in person would be really, for some people, it will be a dream come true, because we have Bhavna ji has confirmed that people are flying from interstate to just see him live in person.
Jitarth, this is clearly not a one-off thing. There's a spate of such attacks that have taken place. God forbid they should get more violent than they already are. But, threats of violence have been issued, and the effects of it are, clearly being seen, as Neeraj ji just told us. Is Australia, in your view, going the Canada way? As far as Khalistanis is concerned?
I don't think Australia can go Canada way in terms of what is the Khalistan propaganda or the violence. Today in Australian Parliament, Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neill clearly said to us that foreign interference is one of the most important threat which Australia is facing, and from multiple actors, may that be Iran, may that be China, or private actors who work or who propagate on behalf of other authorities. So that is Australia's concern and their understanding. However, let's go on the second layer of which is state government or the council or the state police. Do they have understanding of this? I would say no. Are they working to address the Khalistani issue? I would say no. So there is a mismatch between the federal understanding and the local understanding. That's why these Khalistani goons are able to run amok in heart of Melbourne on Federation Square.
No, but what I fail to understand, Jitarth, is it's not like India hasn't possibly communicated to Australia about this. It's not like Australia can pretend to be naive about the Khalistan issue and Khalistani terrorism pointed against India. Why haven't they acted against it?
See, I must tell you, the federal part of the government is very willing to act on it. And they are doing few things. I'm not saying that they are doing everything. They are doing few things. However, the Victorian government and Victorian police is kind of reluctant. Why they are reluctant? There is a very important question why they are reluctant, and answer is very simple. That these Khalistani people have kind of moved into the system here. They provide muscle power, they provide the money power to the local politicians, and these politicians are kind of reluctant to talk about them.
So you're saying it's because of local political compulsions are stopping local governments from acting against certain communities. Sarah, how do you see this? Is this a federal local issue? Has India somehow failed to communicate the seriousness of this? Is there a reluctance in Australia to act against Khalistanis like there has been in Canada for many, many years, to such an extent that Khalistanis, have become a very, in many ways, a sort of outsized, community there in that country?
I can tell you from my liaising with the police and my conversations with the security hotline when I've reported some content online to the authorities, I can tell you that each time I speak with them, I have to explain to them the context of what I'm providing to them, and I have to outline what the risks and threats are and what has already happened in Australia. I even spoke to one local Victorian police officer who was a liaison, and he started telling me, do you know how many Sikhs there are in India? And I said, yes. And I said, but do you know how many Sikhs are in the Punjab? Because these groups are actually a different demographic proportion to what they're claiming to our local police. So they're making it look like they're a tiny minority that's being oppressed by Hindus, but in fact they've got quite a lot of power in the Punjab region. So it's not what they're saying. And the police person, I said to them, do you know how many terror attacks Khalistanis have committed? So have you gone to the global terror database and seen there are 800 plus terror attacks listed there from Sikh extremists and Khalistanis? And I said, if you look, you'll find a minuscule amount that's been accused of Hindus, minuscule. And so he said to me that there were Hindu extremists in India. So this is the level of conversation with a community liaison officer at the Victorian Police. They don't understand what's going on, and for some reason they seem to feel that Hindu extremists are threatening the safety of Sikhs in India.
And that basically affirms the success of the propaganda of Khalistani extremists, because the very basis, the cornerstone of Khalistani propaganda has been that they have been oppressed by India, they've been oppressed by Hindus. Nothing could be further than the truth. While I have our viewers' attention, let me make it very clear, and this is not an emotional thing to say, but Khalistanis are not Sikhs. Sikhs are Indians, they're part of India, they're equal Indian citizens. They are, they are absolutely equal in every respect to every other religion in this country. Khalistanis are anti-India terrorists. They are people who have been separatists, they've chosen to live abroad, and they conduct themselves in a way that tries to harm India, whether it is from Australia or from Canada. And that's why all of these questions come about. Neeraj, you wanted to add something to that?
Yes, I want to add something. Look, on the day of attack on 29th of January in the heart of Melbourne CBD, some of the guys, the Khalistani activists, they were carrying actually swords. Now, under the guise of so-called religious weapons, when the police was questioned by the Indians who were carrying the Indian national flag, that how come these guys are actually carrying swords, the police guys actually told them that these are actually religious weapons.
Yeah.
Now, this is very funny, honestly speaking, because the Victorian police have got guidelines about especially about the Sikh religious kirpan, which is known as in Punjabi kirpan.
Yes.
And I think the maximum length of that kirpan can be about 7.5 to 8 centimeters, and it can't be blunted, so it can't be actually sharp to be used as a knife. And it has to be covered under the piece of clothing and should be worn under the, your top, which you call as kurta in Punjabi.
Yes.
So, but carrying a full-fledged, a sword in the public and then attacking others with sword, as you can see from the videos that might be circulating in the media, how can police even say that's a religious weapon when you guys, your authorities, have actually released a 2-page document or multiple-page document, which I can share with you guys as well. You can clearly see that document clearly outlines what a religious.
This actually does go to the heart of the matter, and
Yes.
what Sarah actually tells us is alarming. I don't think any police force in this modern day and age can claim to be ignorant or claim to be buying into what is preposterous propaganda. India is a democracy. India is the world's largest democracy. All religions live peacefully here in India, including Sikhs, who have a large number of population. So there is no question of any kind of oppression against Sikhs. That is absolutely ridiculous Khalistani propaganda.
Add more. Look, I think back in 2013 or 2012 also, I attended when they had their Balidan. There was when the Panj Pyara, Guru Gobind Singh Ji's sons were actually, sent behind the wall, and that was the Divas,
Okay.
actually.
No, I get it, Neeraj. I want to ask a couple of questions. I just want to ask a few questions. These are not loaded questions, but they need to be asked because at some point we need to find a solution. India and Australia are both democracies. Both are countries that have very, very close relations. Both countries have their citizens living in the other country. There's a large Indian population living in Australia and vice versa. So these are the questions that one needs to ask. Is Australia becoming, ignorantly or knowingly a safe haven for Khalistani terrorists like Canada? Does Australia endorse these so-called Khalistanis? Isn't Australia providing a safe haven to Khalistanis by, looking in the other direction? Why isn't Australia banning Khalistani organizations that openly operate out of Australia? Does the country value its relationship with India? It's a question that really needs to be asked. Think about it. And does India need to play hardball with Australia? Is that other question. I want to go across now to India Today's Manjeet Sehgal, and I'd like to thank all of our guests who are joining us from Australia here on 5 Live. Manjeet, the Pakistan ISI, as usual, looks to be up to its old tricks. It has seen a pattern of, intimidatory tactics taking place in different parts of the world, and they've now decided to commit more resources to trying and fueling this so-called Khalistani tension in Punjab.
Yes, indeed, Shiv. In fact, Indian security agencies have exposed the two-pronged strategy of ISI's K2 desk, which has two things in its mind. One, to revive terrorism in Punjab, and second, to create a hatred between the communities, be it the Sikhs or be it the Hindus. Remember, at least 9 attacks on Hindu temples have been reported during the past year. 2 in Punjab, 4 in Canada, and 3 in Australia. So this is a strategy of the ISI to create hatred and to revive terrorism in Punjab. But remember, the latest incident is reported in Canada on 30th of February when the anti-social elements or these Khalistani elements tried to deface our Lord Rama temple on 30th of February. But as far as the Khalistani elements, Shiv, in India and in Punjab particularly is concerned, they are getting donations from various countries. Remember, a false propaganda is being spread about the Indian government, the Indian constitution, and even some religions from these 8 countries, including the Canada, the Australia, be it the Italy or any other country. But the Indian government is also trying to counter it. Even the Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann has also categorically told the Khalistani elements that the government is keeping an eye on all the developments and will not let these elements spoil the hard-earned peace in Punjab. Sure.
Okay, Manji, thanks very much for getting us that exclusive report. I also want to update our viewers about the modus operandi used by Pakistan's ISI to try and foment more tensions using these so-called Khalistani outfits that operate, obviously like cowards, they only operate abroad. The ISI's K2 desk, that's what it's called, Kashmir and Khalistan, operates as one desk, tells you everything you need to know about Pakistan. It basically enlists Canada-based gangsters to order attacks here in India. It doesn't require any infiltration of terrorists because they basically hire local goons. The Canada gangsters pick up the phone, they hire killers in Punjab to conduct these particular attacks like you've seen in Punjab. And it keeps Punjab on the boil basically with minimum investment, basically hiring local goons who will do anything for a buck. Terrorists, gangsters, drug smugglers have a nexus, and that nexus is used for logistics of weapons and other things. So it's drug money, ISI money, and gangsters operating in India and in Canada who are part of this entire mess. Now, the pattern of violence, the pattern of intimidation has become way too much to simply ignore. From Canada to Punjab, to Australia and certain other countries as well, where things are still under investigation. This is no longer just a one-off, it is a pattern. And Pakistan is attempting its very best to make sure that this becomes the norm. Well, let me just remind all of our viewers that Khalistan has been mentioned just twice in Union Home Ministry annual reports since 2015. India does not see them as a threat. They've have outsized ambitions, they've got outsized, grandiose visions of what their abilities are, but what they really are a bunch of YouTubers eating lunchboxes in Brampton in Canada and Melbourne in Australia. They mean nothing else to India, and India will show them their place if need be. That's the question that Australia and Canada also need to ask. We're taking a very quick break. On the other side here on 5 Live, we're shifting focus from Khalistanis to Karnataka, where Tipu Sultan has become the protagonist for the upcoming election. And I'm just wondering, don't these guys have anything better to politicize?
जैसे सबसे तेज आपकी टैगलाइन है, तो इसी तरह से सबसे तेज हमारी सरकार की लाइफलाइन है.
Leader must have a vision.
We will continue to work with the developing and the developed world for win-win solutions.
Nature had of course willed the survival of the fittest.
हम आतंकवाद के खिलाफ जीरो टॉलरेंस की पॉलिसी को अपनाए हुए हैं.
1 साल के अंदर राहुल कन्वर की कार जो होगी वो इलेक्ट्रिक की होगी.
There is a confrontation of competing visions.
Bonnie Kapoor took to social media to announce that the biography on his late wife and actress Sridevi is in the works and will release later this year. Speaking about the same, he called his late wife a force of nature. Titled as The Life of a Legend, the book will feature the key aspects of Sridevi's life and career. It will be published by Westland Books. The actor had passed away in 2018, leaving a void in the industry. And on her 5th death anniversary, her popular film English Winglish is set to release in China. The drama marked Sridevi's comeback to films after a long hiatus of 15 years.
English tuition? I can come in?
You may not. You need to ask, may I come in?
English Winglish had gone on to become India's official entry to the Academy Awards in the Best Foreign Language Film category for 2013. The story of the film revolved around a housewife who decided to take up English lessons in the US after being mocked by her husband and daughter.
She was born to make laddu.
I, Shashi, from the India.
No, Sashi, not from the India, from India.
Why India, not the India? Why America, the United States of America?
In her illustrious filmic career, Sridevi had acted in as many as 300 films.
Viewer, there's just 2 months to go for the big election in Karnataka. Imagine it's already been 5 years, but the BJP and the Congress are still talking about the same damn things. They're once again engaged in a war of words over, well, you guessed it, Tipu Sultan. Who else? Take a look at this next report and you'll feel like this time machine hasn't moved even one single inch. They were talking about it in 2018 and they're talking about it in 2023. Nothing appears to have changed. The narrative is the same, the priorities are the same, and the netas are the same.
The political showdown over 17th century Mysuru ruler Tipu Sultan rages on. Days after Karnataka Minister Ashwath Narayan urged people to finish off Congress leader Siddaramaiah, just like Tipu Sultan was assassinated, the former chief minister hit back, challenging the BJP leader to pick the gun himself. Calling BJP worshippers of Mahatma Gandhi's murderers, Siddaramaiah compared Ashwath Narayan to a demon.
ಉರಿಗೌಡ ನಂಜೇಗೌಡ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಉರಿಗೌಡ ನಂಜೇಗೌಡರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಹಂಗೆ ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಹೊಡೆದಾಕ್ಬೇಕು
ಇದರಿಂದ ಪೋಲರೈಸೇಷನ್ ವೋಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಯಾಕಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸೋಲ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಇದಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಪಾಪ ಹತಾಶರಾಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈ ಚುನಾವಣೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 100ಕ್ಕೆ 100 ಸೋಲ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಹತಾಶರಾಗಿ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ.
The Congress raked up the minister's statement in the assembly, where Ashwath Narayan seemed to back down.
Talking about Tipu Sultan and Mr. Siddaramaiah's love for Tipu Sultan, through a democratic process, the moral or the intention was, or politically through the democratic process. In the present context, this is only through democratic process. In that democratic process, we need to end this political party, Congress party. That's all the intention. Nothing to, take anything physically. There's no that kind of thought anywhere to have. We are not in that world.
Ashwath Narayan's statement on Tipu Sultan came after state BJP chief Nalin Katil asked voters to choose between worshipping Ram and Hanuman over Tipu Sultan.
ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಯಲಬುರ್ಗದ ಜನತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಆಂಜನೇಯನನ್ನು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಟಿಪ್ಪುವಿನ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಟಿಪ್ಪುವಿನ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಆದರೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಭಜನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವವರನ್ನ ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಓಡಿಸ್ತೀರೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ? ಸಂಕಲ್ಪವನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ ರಾಜ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಸಂತಾನ ಬೇಕಾ, ರಾಮ ಭಕ್ತರು ಬೇಕಾ, ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಭಕ್ತರು ಬೇಕಾ, ಆಂಜನೇಯನ ಪುಣ್ಯ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಸವಾಲಾಗ್ತೇನೆ. ಈ ನೆಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಉಳಿಬಾರ್ದು, ರಾಮನ ಭಜನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಹನುಮಂತರ ಆಚರಣೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
The opposition leaders have lashed out at the Saffron camp for raising Tipu Sultan as an election issue time and again.
What Ashwath Narayan and Nalin Kumar Katil are saying is words of a man and a party scared by an absolute and total rout in the upcoming election after 50 or 60 days in Karnataka. It also shows their mental bankruptcy.
बीजेपी के अध्यक्ष ने कहा कि हम उनको मिटा देंगे, मार देंगे जो टीपू सुल्तान का नाम ले रहे हैं. मैं टीपू सुल्तान का नाम ले रहा हूं, क्या करोगे तुम? बोलो, मारोगे मुझे, मिटा दोगे मुझे? बोलो कहां पर आऊं कर्नाटक में मारने के लिए? आ जाओ. क्या देश के प्रधानमंत्री उनके प्रदेश के जो बीजेपी के लीडर हैं उनकी जबान से वो सहमत हैं कि टीपू सुल्तान का नाम लेगा, हम मिटा देंगे, मार देंगे? अरे भाई, करप्शन का नाम लेना, करप्शन को मिटा नहीं पाए आप. 30% की सरकार आपकी है. ये तो ओपन कॉल है वायलेंस के लिए, ये तो ओपन कॉल है मर्डर और जेनोसाइड के लिए.
With just a few months for the high-stakes electoral battle, will the Tipu Rao tornado discourse trump on other election issues?
Congress supporters have registered a complaint against Minister Ashwath Narayan at Malleshwaram police station. But on the floor of House, the minister has regretted for a statement if the statement hurts the sentiments of Siddaramaiah. But he has also justified, stating that he never tried to attack Siddaramaiah personally, but he was trying to attack the ideological difference with him. With video journalist Madhu Sagairaj reporting for India Today, Bengaluru.
And I just wanted to, put the spotlight on the fact that our netas have a narrative priority which has sustained for so many years, over a decade in Karnataka, for the time that I've been covering elections there, and nothing seems to change. Just take a look at what they talk about and what they don't talk about. I just wanted to give you a few examples here. What they do talk about is Tipu Sultan. What they don't talk about is the traffic nightmare in Bengaluru and other places. What they do talk about is Savarkar. What they don't talk about is citizen deaths thanks to potholes in Bengaluru. What they do talk about is hijab. What they don't talk about is ruined infrastructure in city after city, especially in Bengaluru. What they do talk about is Ganesh Chaturthi and Eid at Eidgah Maidan. What they don't talk about are corruption allegations, and both make allegations against each other. What they do talk about is the Belagavi issue, which has been an issue festering for years and years. What they don't talk about is illegal construction taking place in the city of Bengaluru. What they do talk about is halal meat. What they don't talk about is the visible and steady urban decay that's getting worse with each passing day in the city of Bengaluru. Why is it that every headline coming out of Karnataka has to do with Tipu, Hanuman, Savarkar, communal issues, polarizing issues? Is there nothing else to talk about? And what about the people of Bengaluru? Are they going to be happy with the tallest leaders of the state simply indulging in talk about demons and Tipu Sultan and Veer Savarkar? Doesn't a progressive state like Karnataka deserve a better narrative going forward, especially into a crucial election? Joining me live from Bengaluru this evening, Captain Ganesh Karnik, spokesperson of the Karnataka BJP, and M. Lakshmana is a spokesperson of the Karnataka Congress. Also with me live is political analyst Syed Asad Abbas, and we'll be joined very shortly by a descendant of Tipu Sultan himself. Ganesh Karnik, Captain Karnik, coming to you first. Ashwath Narayan, a seasoned leader, usually has very moderate views. One doesn't see him, flying off the handle and indulging in any vituperative attacks. Even he has gone into, flown down the river of this whole Tipu Sultan narrative and saying all kinds of very violent things. He should be finished off like how Tipu Sultan was finished off. I mean, it's a little alarming. One attributes such attacks and such words with one set of leaders in Karnataka. It is shocking to see someone like an Ashwath Narayan do the same. albeit the fact that he has apologized.
Good evening to you and all my co-panelists, and thanks for inviting me on this debate. See, Tipu has been unnecessarily brought into the limelight by the earlier Congress government in Karnataka ordering Tipu Jayanti. Since then, Tipu has been a burning issue in Karnataka state. What happened after that because of the Tipu Jayanti, the kind of mayhem, Kuttappa's murder, and a lot of things have happened. Now, since Mr. Ashwath Narayan has already withdrawn his statement, and he said in a bit of a moment during a public discourse, he mentioned certain things which he did not mean. So I will not debate on that. But who is Tipu Sultan? Tipu Sultan in Karnataka reminds people of Karnataka the deceit by which Hyder Ali took over the benevolent Odair dynasty. When you talk of Tipu, it reminds of the cruel Ayangari Brahmins in Melukote. When you talk of Tipu, it reminds of tens of thousands of Kodavas being massacred in Kodagu. It talks of, there is a place called Netar Kere. Netar means the blood. A lake filled with blood near Mangalore, where thousands of Christians were killed. And when you talk of Tipu, it reminds us of the cruelty of the Matantar, of the destruction of temples in this state. So when this happened and people are even today remembering Tipu for his cruelty, if a former chief minister keeps on breaking up with the issue, somebody has to give answer.
Okay.
So on our own, we are not taking it up.
Okay, so you're saying that the Tipu narrative has actually been triggered by the Congress itself, which has used Tipu as an instrument of appeasement. Mr. Lakshmana, how will you answer that? The BJP says we would rather not talk about Tipu. It's the Congress that constantly brings up Tipu by celebrating Tipu Jayanti, and by doing so, you are insulting the history of Karnataka, says the BJP. How would you respond to that?
Now, it is baseless allegations and blatant lies which is being spreaded by BJP spokespersons, BJP leaders in Karnataka. Now, as you have explained very neatly and correctly and factuals, you have given in your opening remark, these people, they do not have any other issues. In case if they have any developmental activities issues, let them bring before the public, because we are hardly another 45 days are left out here for next assembly election. How a senior leader who himself claimed that he was earlier deputy chief minister of Karnataka, now he is having four important portfolios all day, and this Dr. Ashwath Narayan can give open call to its own workers that you go and kill Siddaramaiah like how Tipu was killed. Is it not shame on the part of this BJP people? Where is the law and order? Where is the law and order here in Karnataka? What is that Basuraj Bommai is doing? What is the Araga Nanendra is doing? I'm not understanding. Can they come and kill the Siddaramaiah? Can it possible for them to kill Siddaramaiah? Let them come and kill. We are ready. Tomorrow we are going to have an intensive program all over Karnataka. We want to come out to the streets saying that, you kill us, you kill me also. With that, program, tomorrow onwards we are going to launch. I want to ask this BJP spokesperson, who raised, what is the issue now? What is the issue? Corruption issue. Corruption, they have looted exchequer's money here in Karnataka to the extent core. So to cover up that, they do not have any issues. Now, even and then, they keep bringing this bloody all nuisance issues.
Okay. Captain Karni, quick response, then I'll go to the other two guests.
Some language, I don't think...
please temper the language, everyone. Yes.
I don't think I should comment on that. See, this 40% commission and corruption issue has been doing rounds for the past about 8-10 months without any substantiated, proof for that. And the person, the Contractors Association president himself is under custody. He was under custody. He has come out on bail. So I will not comment on that. So it is not that we have taken it up. You played a small, kind of a video clip of OIC. Do you remember what OIC's brother said? And what happened to that? These are the people who support them. Tipu Sultan was a dead issue because they decided to start the Tipu Jayanti in Karnataka, and then Kuttappa was murdered. So this has come up. And on time and again. See, they have been talking about, Mahatma Gandhi's murder. Have they stopped talking about Mahatma Gandhi's murder? Every now and then they take it up. Supreme Court has given a clear verdict. Why don't they shut up and keep quiet about it? They can take it up.
Okay.
Who is raising this issue,
So-
sir? Who is raising this issue?
Your own Siddaramaiah talks about it again and again.
Who is raising this
Siddaramaiah
issue? Is an
is
issue
shameless.
which is being raised
He's
by
raising
your
it.
people, you people. All the time, you talk about
Okay.
Tipu, you talk
Let me step in here. Let me step in here. So the BJP.
Mahatma Gandhi's murder.
One second. Let me come in here. The BJP basically says. The BJP basically blames the Congress's Siddaramaiah for having started this entire Tipu narrative in Karnataka. The Congress says it's the BJP which is using Tipu as a diversion because it has nothing left to talk about and it's trying to cover up for corruption. That's basically a summary of the allegations. Also with us live, Syed, I'm going to come to you in just a moment, but I want to get a word in from Mansoor Ali Tipu, who's a descendant of Tipu Sultan as well. Mansoor Ali Tipu, how do you feel about this tutu meme between the BJP and Congress over your ancestor Tipu Sultan? Do you take a side in this entire fight?
100%. We are fed up of all these things. Why our ancestors' name is again and again taken for your own political benefits? You should fight for what you have done to the people, what you have given the development. Enough people is given this development. He was a pilot to the rocket. He is given a very good secular kingdom. He has donated lands to the temples. He is even equivalent to the Dalits who have been the blouse tax and other things. And after sacrificing his own life to this land, motherland, India, fighting for the freedom against the British. And today you bring him in a political scenario and try to show him a tyrant or a villain. One political party tries to show he's a hero and not concerned who's doing what. I want this topic to be immediately stopped here. Fight on your own basis. What Mr. Siddaramaiah has done to the people, let them fight. What Mr. Amit Shah or Katil has done, what Mr. Bamai has done, let them fight for their cause. Only to polarize Muslim vote and attract Muslims. Why are you trying to bring Tipu Sultan as a subject for your own political gain?
No,
from 12 years.
I take what you're saying, Mansoor. See, the thing is, this is a very ironic situation here in India today. The descendant of Tipu Sultan. The descendant of Tipu Sultan says, please stop taking my ancestor's name. Fight on your own merit, fight on your own issues. You don't need to use my ancestor to, take pot shots at each other. Syed, it brings me down to the question I actually started with. Aren't there better things, more substantive things to talk about? I am not going to disrespect history. At the end of the day, Tipu Sultan has a contentious history. It is an emotive issue in Karnataka. I will take all sides when I say, yes, there are aggrieved parties as far as the Tipu Sultan regime is concerned. But surely in the 21st century, 2023, Karnataka, one of India's most progressive states, it's about time the BJP and the Congress, sort of exorcised the ghost of Tipu Sultan and got on with the real issues of the day.
Absolutely, Shiv.
Exactly.
As a matter of fact, you were here. I'm coming to the point.
Mansoor, coming to you in a moment. That question was for Syed. Coming to you, Mansoor, in a moment. Syed.
All right. Shiv, I couldn't agree with you more on this front. I think, better than all of us panelists, you've articulated this point. In fact, just before start of your show, what did I see? Tipu is not a topic for us, sir. We are citizens of this country and we are wonderful Kannadigas of Bangalore, Karnataka. Traffic is an issue. Education is an issue. Jobs are an issue. This petty politics of a Tipu versus Savarkar or Tipu versus Hanuman plays well for the BJP and the Congress. Today, we need to understand that is not an issue. Today, a metro construction, what we saw, death of a mother and a small infant child, that is an issue, sir. Decongestion of roads is an issue, sir. Floods across Whitefield in Bangalore city, that is an issue. Better planning, infrastructure, better roads, education, hospital, farmer issues of rural Karnataka, that is an issue. I think it is high time that the Congress and the BJP understand this petty politics of Tipu or of Savarkar is not going to help you. A true reason for people like us to come out and vote in the next 2 months will be issues which are interest, issues of priority for the people of Karnataka. This petty politics is not going to help neither the BJP or the Congress. So therefore, I truly think these respective politicians need to watch your show today and understand the issues which matter to us. Today, for me to travel from here to my office or any of the event or engagement takes about an hour or two. It is literally the time from Bengaluru to Mysuru. Such is the
Captain,
situation.
okay, you've articulated what I feel as well. Captain Karnik, because it is a complicated issue. At the end of the day, Indian politics is noisy. It takes up all emotive issues. History is very much part of the narrative that takes place, through election season as well. My only contention is it cannot be the dominant narrative. There are only about 45 days to go, Captain Karnik, with this retraction and apology from Dr. Ashwath Narayan, who is a very reasonable, moderate man. I know him personally as well. One wonders whether this will be the end of this whole Tipu fight. Will it be, or is it going to continue to be one of the big topics of contention going forward, sir?
Prime Minister came. The foundation stone was laid by him and the helicopter facility was inaugurated by him. 48,000 crore rupees investment.
Yeah.
We are not talking about it. You also take up Tipu issue again and again. So it is
but we covered that, sir. We always cover the infrastructure and other issues of Bengaluru. The only channel to do so.
No, I am not complaining. You also prioritize. In fact, when somebody asked me today, I called her. I told Madhu, why are you taking it up again and again? Why do you want to give it a wide publicity?
Sir,
don't do it.
A former chief minister, sir, a former chief minister and a former deputy chief minister are saying these things in public, sir. How does one ignore that?
He has apologized. He has withdrawn the statement. Still you want to argue. We don't have any problem. It is Tipu versus...
That is shooting the messenger, Captain Karnik, with respect.
Tipu versus Madhukari Naik. It is Tipu versus Wanake Obawa. It is Tipu versus Kempe Gowda. So it is for us to decide. We have priorities. It is not that you only talk about Tipu.
I take your point. I take your point. In fact, right here on this show in the past, I have talked about, the media's own priorities as far as these stories are concerned. But surely as elected representatives, a former chief minister and a former deputy chief minister, there have to be better topics to discuss and certainly to fight about.
He has already withdrawn the statement.
We've reported that. We've reported that, which is why I'm wondering whether that can be a signal moment for this issue being, buried and not becoming part of the dominant narrative. Mr. Lakshmana, final word from you. Final word, and if I have time, I'll get Mansoor in as well. Mr. Lakshmana.
Let us see how people react.
Yeah. See, we have never speak anything about Tipu at all, sir.
That is not true, sir.
Tipu Jayanti. 1 second, sir. We have only declared Tipu Jayanti during our regime. Then after, we've never gone for speaking about Tipu or Muslims issue all the time. My friends, other than political parties, Mr. Mansoor Ali and other gentlemen, they were telling you, please don't Congress party do politics based on this casteism, religion.
I'll give the last 20 seconds to Mansoor Ali, sir, with your permission.
Give me some time, seconds, because you have given more time for BJP counterpart. My only contention is, that person like Nalin Kumar Katil, who is heading this BJP in Karnataka, he is giving a open call.
Yeah, we've reported that.
Water supply, sanitation, or developmental. You speak only on Vijay. You speak about Muslims. You speak about love jihad. You speak only on these issues. That means what is their agenda? Agenda is very clear. They want
Mansoor Ali, 15 seconds to you. Final 15 seconds. Your message. Your message to the politicians.
That is not going to work out here.
Navin Katil said they will kill the descendants of Tipu Sultan and the followers of Tipu Sultan. Followers of Tipu Sultan are 6 crore in Karnataka. We are the pride. Tipu Sultan is a pride to India. And when Mr. Siddaramaiah declared 2015 a Jayanti, why did he gazette a Jayanti? Today, Mr. Congress person got saying that Siddaramaiah has been targeted. Why didn't they protect Tipu Sultan? What is this thing stopped them to protect Tipu Sultan? Why didn't they protect the history? 70 years, why didn't they take the city on Tipu Sultan? When Congress wanted Muslim vote, they are only protected.
I'm out of time. I'm completely out of time. Syed, apologies for that. I'm completely out of time. But I'd like to just tell all of our viewers that I think the big takeaway from today is that Tipu Sultan is not going to stop being a narrative going into this election. I will be there in Bengaluru very soon, so I hope to meet all of you personally. Thank you very much for your time and for being with me once again here on 5 Live. That's a wrap on the show for today. I'll see you at the same time tomorrow. 6 p.m. Prime with Akshata comes up next. DMK continues to protect its brazen party councillor who beat an army soldier to death. The details are absolutely sickening. Akshita brings you the biggest story up next.